Well, hello, and welcome to the home of the Iconoclasts. I'm Rose. Please take a pamphlet. In it, you'll find everything you need to know about Graham, his philosophist truths, and the Iconoclast way. He wrote it himself, you know. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting we're out of pamphlets. Gosh, blast it.
On the other hand, I absolutely want a pamphlet.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. With friends like him, I think you'll fit in just fine. We're the only free people in Halcyon, you know? No corporations, no shackles, no problems. Oh, those are just hurdles. We deal with them as they come. You're welcome to stay with us, so long as you can earn your keep. That's a nice way to think about it. Graham would be our father. I suppose Zora might make a good mother if the two of them could stop arguing. You can think of those two as our leaders, but they're more like examples. We all ought to be more like them. Why, he's our founder. Graham taught us about philosophism. Through him, we came to the eternal truth. I'm glad you're asking, by the way. I hope you'll consider staying. She's been with us since the beginning. I think she was our sawbones back then, but now she's more like our commander. She goes and finds people in the wilderness and gets them to come here. And she keeps us from being chewed on and whatnot. She's liable to take your head off if you screw up, but then she'll sew it back on for you. Graham's place is in the large building straight back. Zora's sometimes there talking with him, but usually she's in the triage clinic next door. Oh, Graham settled here a long time ago. Shoot, I wish I had a pamphlet to give you. It's all in there. I wasn't around back then, but they say a lot of the old MSI corporate folks died here. He calls it a spiritual metaphor, something about rising from the ashes. The new boy! Yes, he's quite clever. He took to our teachings very quickly. Last I saw him, he was headed into one of the buildings up the hill.
Staying out of sight.
Welcome to the Emporium. I'm Bronson. It ain't really a store. Think of me more like a quartermaster, and a chef, and a handyman, and whatever else we need. Cooking's my true passion. You need a Raptidon to taste good? Bring it here, and I'll work a miracle or two. We gotta eat. Eating means hunting, and hunting means armaments. We used to let people take what they will, but then some idiot shot some other idiot over cards. So Zora set up a system. You fuck up, you don't get to buy gear. You play nice, you do. Yeah, plenty. If you're the type to fix a thing or two, I've got a couple reports I need to follow up on. The pipes up on Milton's house burst. Someone needs to shut them off. Then there are the cables outside the bar. A sprat chewed through them, and now they're spitting lightning. Then there's the old guardhouse, outside town on the way to the old Bayside Terrace. Someone needs to reset the comms breaker there. That's one way to look at it. Another is, those are the only things in this whole fucking town that are broke. Maybe we appreciate that. I ought to tell you, most of these systems are routed through one of our terminals. You might be able to handle some of them remotely if you know your way around a computer. We sent Milton out to check on the comms tower a while ago. Ain't heard back. I'd wager he got 8. Up the hill. It's right on the cliff's edge.
The infamous Amber Heights. Damned philosophists.
What a bunch of junk. Nothing useful in this whole lot. ain't seen you before. You from one of the outer steads or what? You poor some bitch. I hear tell the dust storms get even worse out there. Welcome to the heart of Iconoclast country, sister. In charge? Huh. We're Iconoclasts. Every soul a sovereign power. We do for each other on account of it needing to be done. Not because some fancy-pants manager said to. Now, you want to rephrase that question, maybe ask who's respected hereabouts, I can give you a sensible answer. Every soul here knows to keep a weather eye out. Everyone's lost somebody to the wildlife. That didn't stop Miss Zora from picking a few souls and imposing a schedule. Be here then, leave there later. Downright in Icon. Well, it ain't what we do. Take that on top of what happened on the northern expedition. She and Graham are exchanging harsher words than usual. When the monarchists wanted to settle down and play nice with the board, Graham was the one that took a stand. He's the reason we're here, breathing free air. Zora's our best sawbones. Nearly every soul here owes her their life. She's got funny ways, but they work. Well, sure. It's on account of how we all work. No iconoclast makes another do as they say just because. You gotta convince them. That Graham and Zora argue all the time just says the process is working. Vigorous intellectual debate. You see? Welcome to Monarch. The animals think you're tasty, the fungus thinks your lungs are a great place to plant spores. That ain't enough. Look at the sky. Olympus yanks this moon about like a drunk dancer. Storms to curl your hair and quakes to rattle your brain pan.
Bastard. Good thing Zora needs tendons.
A Manta Queen.
Yeah. We felled it, mind. But we lost 2 runners and 5 gun hands.
A total failure, then. So much for the ruins.
And hell only knows where the Vanoys are. They never showed.
I'm sure they're... let's talk later. It seems we have company.
Nice day, huh? For Monarch, anyway.
A stranger comes to our home. If you're looking for a path to walk, you've found one. If you're looking for a teacher, I am one. Welcome to the Iconoclasts. Shed the trappings of a materialistic life, Captain. you'll find your soul much less burdened.
Also, we're broke.
Yes, if we were meant to enjoy the things that glitter and shine, the universe would provide them.
Most of Halcyon isn't up Sulphur Creek.
I'd wager the opposite. The corporations are doomed. Only we have the truth at our backs, and we are better for it. Now, why have you come? Awakening is available to all whose minds are ready to accept it. What would you like to know?
I would like to know what you think Bakonu meant when he wrote, "Your work is to discover the truth, and then with all your heart give yourself to it."
Ah, how refreshing to have a scholar among us. Bakonu's text simply refers to our entire purpose, assisting the universe in realizing its own truth. Let it guide us as it will.
It refers to giving oneself over to the plan. It is not some paean to an invisible creator in the sky.
Were there a truth to the grand plan in the first place, I and Bakonu might agree. But what we see as divine purpose is just one facet of the universe figuring itself out. To quote, "As a child looking at the leg of an elephant, unable to view it whole, we mistake the tiny scope of our understanding as the unfathomably large purpose of the universe."
You're not completely full of shit, I'll give you that. Even if you do twist things beyond recognition to suit your own beliefs.
Let it go, Max. Mr. Bryant's got you beat.
Were my teachings beyond recognition, I dare say I wouldn't have a small army of followers who understand and believe.
I owe you an apology. I expected you to be a complete idiot. I'd say you're actually more in the 25% idiocy range.
Likewise. Now, I'm sorry. What was it you were asking? Ah, the eternal. We are all part of the consciousness of the cosmos. Each of us plays a tiny role in the universe's continual journey toward understanding itself. You and I, and the rats and the mantis swarms. Divinity is in us all, and the eternal is that divinity. Everyone, regardless of ability to believe, is another facet of the universe contemplating its own existence.
Ability to believe. I think you mean inability to tell fantasy from truth, which rules out any knowledgeable scientician.
Let us be clear. Neither of us can lay claim to being knowledgeable on this topic. It is a matter of belief. It is not as if OSI has gone and proven anything. Regardless, what were you saying? The point of no return. When your mind fully opens to the eternal truth. Every philosophist experiences it along the path to enlightenment. For many, it is the first brush with the cold of death, when they realize that all of their lives have boiled down into the single truth of that moment. Mine was witnessing my friend and colleague transform into the very evil we sought to combat. Now he runs MSI just like the overlords before him. I suppose that's one way to look at it. Another is that misfortune often brings opportunity. I found my path through the tragedies of my past. Not in the sense of a single entity, fashioning the universe as a whittler fashions a flute. The universe came into being over time, organically, naturally, and without purpose. In that sense, I suppose you could say that, in the interest of finding its purpose, the universe itself created all living things.
The universe doesn't need to find its purpose. It is a mathematically perfect equation that gives mankind purpose.
That we'd consider ourselves in any way capable of understanding the universe, much less an equation that drives it, is nothing but hubris. All right.
I heard about you. You're trying to change the colony, right? Transform the soul and character of Halcyon.
Right you are, my boy. Soon every man, woman, and child will experience their own spiritual awakening under my guidance. The Iconoclasts are free folk. We live under our rules, motivated by our own beliefs, all petals on the same flower of enlightenment. Meanwhile, the board strangles the will of its workers. It is the penultimate exercise of a poisoned society where people are enslaved by a corporate ladder. We seek to replace their way of life with ours. Philosophism is the key to unlocking their shackles. Oh, yes. Gunships hover in our skies, ready for the day they decide to come to our doors waving banners of war. The perception of visionaries is often tainted by the lies of their oppressors. A sad state of affairs, to be sure. I'm sorry. As long as it's been, I'd still rather not speak of it. That was a painful day for us all. All people are part of the Philosophist family. I've come to accept that, along with the additional weight of their deaths. Why have you come? A great many things, in fact.
We could always use a hand rounding up supplies.
Or... Now here's an idea. There's an old printing press I've been trying to get up and running. I have always dreamed of subverting the colony's periodicals and turning the board's own propaganda against them. If I could get my message directly in the hands of Byzantium citizens, I'm sure they'd recognize the truth. Will you aid us in our cause? Wonderful. I requisitioned replacement rollers for it some time ago. Huxley should have delivered them yesterday. Speaking of which, where is Huxley?
You bought rollers? You haven't even cleared the wraps out yet. What are you doing wasting bits on... Forget it. Huxley's still recovering. She won't be up for a run for a while yet.
It seems we're out a runner. If you intend to help our cause, I'll ask you to meet our MSI supplier in her stead.
So you're her mysterious savior. She sings your praises.
That girl and her songs, so eager to learn, so bright-eyed, so tone-deaf. One of our sympathizers, a woman named Carlotta, periodically buys goods on our behalf from Stellar Bay's store. Stellar Bay has caught on, but they remain friendly, though the goods now come at a considerable markup. She meets us in the ruins of Bayside Terrace. From our compound, follow the road north. Wonderful. While you're at it, I wonder if Carlotta still has those high-capacity cartridges? Grab a few, will you? There should be some funds left over from the last shipment. We can use them to copy and modify radio serials. Yes, not just magazines, but their precious dramas.
Unbelievable. I hope I don't have to tell you this, but if there is extra money, would you mind buying, I don't know, food and medicine? Graham, if you need me, I'll be in triage.
It ain't right. How many good folk we gonna lose to our missions?
That's just the way of it. We gotta earn our keep out here.
That don't mean we ought to be following her into the jaws of a manticore.
You'd rather sit on your thumbs and starve?
No, all I'm saying is she gotta be more careful throwing away lives like that.
Sorry about earlier. Graham and I don't always see eye to eye. Besides, we just got our asses kicked in the ruins. Not a great time to yammer on about his printing press. Yeah, name's Zora. I've been patching up the Iconoclasts since day one. Whenever Graham's lack of foresight gets someone hurt, I get them back on their feet. If I can. I was a long time ago, over in Cascadia. Rizzo was trying to sweeten up animal parts, and often that meant a lab coat got bit. Now I'm whatever I need to be to keep these folks from bleeding out. Hey, you got some decency in you. Careful. That's rare around these parts, and folks are liable to try and take advantage of it. When he's being an idiot, sure. The Mantiqueen showed up out of nowhere, and I guess the gunfire attracted raptidons. It was a damn bloodbath. Listen, unless this is urgent, I need to oversee the wounded.
Exactly. Show some respect to the captain, ma'am.
Huh. Men dying, talking to a stranger. Men dying, talking to a stranger. Yeah. Stop by later, Miss Urgency, when I don't have my hands full.
Damned philosophists.
This place wasn't half so pretty in the serials.
When you've got a moment, I'd like to talk to you about something. Can we talk? I've been mulling over everything with Graham and the Iconoclasts. Upon further reflection, Graham's not as much of an idiot as I thought he'd be. But in other ways, he's worse. I'd urge you to be careful in future dealings with him, Captain.
Please, Vic. You're just all shook up because Mr. Graham argued circles around you.
He's an unhinged zealot who lacks awareness of the consequences of his choices. I wouldn't trust him to lead a crew, let alone a town-wide cult.
Your mouth's moving, but all I hear coming out is, I'm jealous because Mr. Bryant's got a devoted cult following his every word, and I don't.
Your scathing insight into the true nature of my character has cut me to the quick, Felix. I'm not sure I'll ever recover. Graham is the better man. You forced me to admit it. As much as I usually appreciate the board's ordered approach to governance, in Monarch's case, they aren't really running anything so much as leaving everyone to rot. Unless you agree with them that the inhabitants of Monarch should be forced to evacuate, or die from their stubborn rebelliousness. Zora is militant, unbending, and ruthless for sure. I'd be hesitant to oppose her. But she gets results, and she doesn't suppress intelligent discourse. Can't say I agree with the Iconoclasts, but Zora has what it takes to save Monarch. Yes, I've been meaning to discuss exactly that. Now that we know where, the scholar is, when will we be searching him out?
I love the smell of sulfur in the morning. In the afternoon, and evening, and night. Smells like liberty. Afraid so. No, I wasn't there, mind. I've just been helping Ms. Zora with triage. Ms. Zora took a team into the ruins north of here, looking for supplies, I heard. But they ran into a sulfurin mantiqueen out from the wastes. Like any encounter with a queen. 6 folks dead on the ground in seconds, the rest running. 2, you can't actually keep the dust out. Always carry antifungals. Sprays work okay, creams are better. You got nothing else? Vodka.
Oh, hello. Good to see you again. What, oh, in Milton's place? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Me and my diary have got some catching up to do. Damn right. Ain't nothing in the wilderness can stop me. Except being locked up. Well, on the way back, I twisted something in my leg, foot area. Where does my foot end and my leg begin? Wherever that is, it hurts. So, no runs for me for a little while. Time to kick back and relax. Huh? Why? Oh, ha! You're funny. I did a dumb thing. I was trying to get away from a terror ray. Usually, you can just get a ways from their nest and they'll stop following you. But this one was really persistent. Chased me for, I don't know, forever. Scratched me up back good. I barely got away. Then I tripped over a void damn rock. A rock! Not even a slippery one.
There's your iconoclast theory of chaos in action.
Mister, I don't know what chaos is, but rocks ain't got theories. They're rocks. Till it stops hurting, I guess. Zora says I'll be fine in a month or so.
Looks like I'm not the only new face around here. What do I call you, stranger? Welcome to Amber Heights, Captain. Call me Tucker. You here to join the Iconoclasts? Help us free this world? Why, from the yoke of corporate tyranny. It's what all us Iconoclasts strive for, with Graham at the helm. We want unfettered freedom, not the lies that MSI tries to sell in Stellar Bay. True escape from all rules and constraints. You want to know more? Listen to Graham's broadcasts. He's been talking up a storm, working to elevate the minds of all the corporate drones in this colony, getting them to rise up. It is. Just look at what a paradise Amber Heights is. We could take this world, no, galaxy-wide.
Only the vastly ignorant, such as one who has never even seen a picture of Byzantium, could call this a paradise.
I've heard of that place.
Graham once said the folks who live there are bound by chains they themselves bought. Sounds awful. Yeah, to Amber Heights, anyway. Only got here a few weeks ago. Was living in Stellar Bay before then. But I can't tell you how great it is to finally be free of them walls. Screw safe. I've had enough of playing it safe to last me a dozen lifetimes. A body's not meant to live such a guarded life. Everybody needs a little danger and excitement, something to live for. That's what you get outside the walls. And if you're lucky, you find a cause worth bleeding for. And that's what I got right here. The Iconoclasts welcomed me into the fold. They're teaching me how to survive and truly be free. That's worth more to me than safe ever could be. Sorry about that. It stems from some, family trauma. I don't want to talk about that, though. I am not a little boy. Haven't been one for decades, no matter what my mama wishes. I take it she's still looking for me? Had hoped she'd accept my decision. According to her, stepping foot outside of the house in broad daylight is too dangerous. My entire life, she crammed a fear of danger down my throat. Don't go play with friends. Mantisaurs will tear your arms off. Don't leave the city. Raptidons will spit acid on your face. Marauders can violate you. You'd fall in a sulfur pool. I stuck around way too long, ruled by her fears. I'm 42 years old, but she still sees me as a little boy in need of her protection. I won't stand for it, I tell you. Stars, I don't know. My mama's a stubborn woman. She won't quit until I'm dead.
That can be arranged.
You know, that might just work. You go back and tell her you found my body beside the road, all mangled and tore up. If she believes me dead, she won't look for me no more. I know it sounds extreme, but I can't go back. I just can't. This is the only way I can think of to be free. I hate to think of her grieving, but it'll be good for her to move on. In the long run, you know? Oh, right. I guess you could take my daddy's ring. I've worn it ever since he died. Mama would recognize it right away. You take this back to Stellar Bay. Tell my mama I died and you found that on my body. I know it'll be hard on her, but it's the only way.
Never seen you before. Not for me. Maybe for you. Come out here looking for some better life, kid? That ain't likely to happen on T1. Monarch, whatever they call this shithole now. Take my advice. Get yourself a berth off-world. Anywhere. Don't look back, just keep flying. Nothing on this moon for nobody. There's a lot of heartbreak. It's pretty simple, kid. I sit at the bar, I drink, I mind my own business. That's it. Whoever said that must have been lying. Or maybe they was drunk. I don't know nothing a dozen better folk couldn't tell you. Look, you want to buy the drinks, I'll do my bit to keep you entertained. Just don't ask me to dance. I can't repay no kindnesses now. Alright, so, I reckon one of the most interesting places I've been is the Hot Pole. You know what that is? Exactly. This moon ain't big enough to rotate. It's locked. One side always facing Olympus, the other always facing away. Olympus might not be a star, but it throws off assloads of heat. Monarch's hot pole is the part that's closest to the gas giant. It's in the middle of this big mountain plateau. Volcano's so high the peaks are in space. I found it peaceful. No wind, no animals, no people. You ever heard nothing? You hold your breath and nothing. It's profound. The funny thing is, then in the middle there's just smooth rock. Circular-like. All the dust blown away. Pale gray with hair-fine cracks all over. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I was lightheaded from the O2. But I felt like I had to take off the breather for a moment, put my ear to the ground. I did get a burn on the low before I smartened up. Put a towel under me. It was at the edge of hearing. Deep down. Far off. Irregular. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of a bird pecking out of a shell. I don't like to tell that one sober. Get the shakes something fierce. When there's a groundquake now, I hold my breath. Because I don't know if it's Olympus squeezing us for gravity, or wings getting stretched. I won't decline it. So, you know about the ocean? It's where the monarchists keep their salt tuna. You couldn't pay me enough to go out on a boat. That much water scares the fuck out of me. At least space kills you honest. You can see forever. Goes all the way around the moon. At the twilight band. On one side, the volcanoes at the hot pole. On the other, the storm wall of the cold pole. Nobody knows how deep it is. Never needed to. The salt tuna keep near the surface. What's more interesting to me is the tides. Nobody's asked me that before. The way I hear it, it kind of wobbles back and forth. The ocean sloshes side to side as it does. On account of how big Olympus is, the tides are monsters. When it's low, the ocean pulls back miles. When it's high, entire islands go under. It ain't so bad in the bay. Likely why they built a city here. But one morning I've gone a ways east. Tides are out, and off in the mud I see something catching sun. Yeah, we ain't so different, because I laced up my boots and struck out. Standing out there in the mud, miles from any place, is a circle of silver columns. 6 of them. About 2 stories tall. Seamless metal. While I'm standing there in the middle of them, my ears start pounding and I see shapeless things out of the corner of my eyes. Gray. Disappearing when I look straight at them. What kind of gobbledygook you talking? Alls I know is I was scared half out of my brains. About then, while I'm cussing into the dark miles from shore, I realize there's another sound in the distance. A roaring off in the night. The tide's coming in. That's exactly what I said at the time. It gets up to my chest before I start outpacing it. But I didn't stop running until I was on something real damn tall. The weirdest thing? I went back the next low tide. Flew out with an AG loader. The columns were gone. And I've never seen them since. Sure as I can be. The moral is, the tides here will kill you if you ain't careful. So stay the fuck away from the water. I'm near out of stories. You'll have to enjoy this one. I told you before about the hot pole. The point of T of Monarch, closest to the gas giant. I told you I heard a tapping sound underground, and what it sounded like to me. The cold pole is the side that always faces away from Olympus. That's where most of the water is, big sheets of ice. The warmest it gets is 40 below. So you got one end bitter cold and the other boiling hot. That's why there's constant wind, and why we have the storm wall. I'm telling you where I've been and what I've seen. Rest is on you, kid. Where the hot air from one end meets the frigid air from the other, you get storms. You go far enough towards the cold side, you'll see it. A wall of ice cliffs, giant sheets cracking off into the sea, and overhead storm clouds, thick and rolling, snow and ice on gale force winds. You don't think the giant fungus outside is creepy? The bugs that lay eggs in folk? This whole damn moon's a horror, kid. I was a stubborn cuss. I trudged through the storm wall. Had to do it in one go. If you stop for half an hour, you get buried. It was night when I made it through. 90 below and falling. Perfect dark, stars by the million. Forgot to breathe. That's the third time you've said something like that. You need to knock off all the science fantasy. It was cold enough that CO2 froze out of the air. CO2 is what makes our brains go, you need to breathe. So I was standing there, head going all swimmy because I wasn't feeling no urge to breathe. Yeah, unconscious, asleep. Well, your body's got no urge to breathe on its own here. You're gonna die. People can live all sorts of places and survive all kinds of things. Too cold to want to breathe would be a mighty strange death. Nah. Go out and live your life for a bit. Do something, I don't know, exciting. A great many things. I'll tell you what. You want to listen to an old man ramble? There might be a job in it for you. I used to run with a squad of mercenaries here. Good folk. Fella named Lamont introduced me. Thing is, I ain't seen them in an age. Stands to reason they got themselves ate. Mostly we protected folk from the beasts here. If it spat, scratched, or stung, we'd kill it for you, so long as you had the bits. We split ways around the time this twice-fucked moon got abandoned. Thing is, I got myself some fond memories. We had some keepsakes of ours we kept in a lockbox, and I've been thinking about seeing it found. Thereabouts. I'll be glad for it, but I ain't stupid. This planet tends to get people killed. I just want some closure. Getting on in years, kid. Eggs ain't working like they used to. Sulfur burns a little too long in the lungs. This joint's looking like my last home. Appreciate it, kid. I'm marking outposts on your map. We spend a lot of time out there. Might be a good place to start. Here's a key for the door.
All I'm saying is it ain't worth it. It's gonna taste like sulfur all the same.
Nuh-uh. Taro's got that sweet blood.
So? You gotta boil it or you'll get sick. Then all that sweetness takes to the air anyhow.
Nah, don't boil it. We're gonna get sick all the same. Might as well enjoy it.
Don't boil? Do you want the runs?
Better than tasting sulfur and dirt every damn day.
How does it feel?
How does what feel?
Serving an instrument of corporate supremacy?
Let me hazard a guess. You're talking about the church.
Isn't it true the OSI is just a cog in the machine of oppression?
I'm glad you're asking questions, Felix. Curiosity is the foundation of the scientician faith.
Don't try and convert me, preacher.
What are you buying? I'll be damned. Thanks for doing that. Here. Zora sets aside a bit or two for people who help out. Before you ask, no, it ain't pay. Just being generous to folks who do a good turn.